Hello and welcome to Nutrition and Alternative Medicine. I'm JJ Flazanes, your host. Thank you for downloading today's show. Today's show is about changing your money story. This is an episode that aired on Love-Based Money with Michele PW. And those of you that have come over here from listening to me on her show, well, you've already heard this, and maybe it's worth hearing again. And for those of you who heard Michele on my show, we also talked about love-based influence and how to persuade people through using love-based tactics instead of fear-based tactics. So this was an episode where I actually appeared on her show, and I wanted to also share it with those of you that didn't come over to hear it. But before we get started on today's episode, I have a few announcements. So the first announcement is that as of the airing of this show, which is today is July 17th, you have about approximately 3 days left to get the 3-pay option for the next big step, which is the event happening in September. And I'm so excited about some of the sponsors that we have coming on board. Some of the great food companies like Epic and Rebel and Revive Kombucha, and PK Odal is one of our sponsors, and she does feng shui, and she's actually going to be on the show soon. We've already recorded her episode before, and I'm going to share it with you because feng shui, from personal experience, can be life-changing if you haven't already tried it. And there are many different kinds of feng shui. So I'm going to have PK's episode air before we actually get to the event. So in case you're coming to the event, you can meet her in person. And I just want to make sure that those of you who, again, who are on the fence, next year we're having the Releasing What Weighs You Down in January, and there's still a 3-pay option or a 5-pay option available for that, and space is left, but some of you already signed up for that. But just be clear that I don't know that these events will go on forever. I'd like them to. So if you have that impulse to say, I'll go next year, that's cool. But if you're stuck in a repetitive pattern in your life, whether it be money or in your relationship with anybody, whether it be a spouse or a sister or brother or coworker or just in life in general, I'm telling you, the relationship work we're going to do is going to rock your world. I have had the pleasure of having Harville Hendrix on the show. You haven't heard it yet because I haven't edited it yet. It's coming. It's coming very soon. And I actually did a video so you can watch us on YouTube, or you can hear. The show's a little bit longer when it's going to show up. But Harville Hendrix is the creator of Imago Therapy, which is the only therapy I think is at all worth having as a couple. And also some of those exercises I think are just imperative for people to do individually. If I had done the exercise years ago, it would have just shifted so much. And anyway, I won't go into it because it's too exciting and I want you to listen to the episode. So the next announcement I'm going to make is that starting next week, I'm going to be having 2 episodes on spirit, purpose, and energy. And that second episode will be more of a Q&A where I answer some questions that have come up in the Manifestation Challenge group or in the Releasing What Weighs You Down group or emails that I get from you guys who listen to the show. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to hear that the show's having a positive impact on you. That is why I'm doing it. That Q&A show will probably also show up on the Fit to Love channel. And then I'm bringing on a co-host for women, men, and relationships. Now, you're not going to know who that is and why that is until probably another week or two. And I will be having another solo show just to explain sort of the transitions that have been happening and what's going on. But I'm having a co-host once a week for the second episode on women, men, and relationships. And I'm here to tell you that if you're listening to this right now on women, men, and relationships, you're fine. You just stay where you are. However, if you're listening to this on any other channel, Spirit, Purpose, and Energy, Fit to Love, Nutrition, Alternative Medicine, that show will not air anywhere else except on women, men, and relationships. So if you're interested in checking it out, once it happens, I will make that announcement. You can come over and download that first 2 episodes to hear what's going on, who he is, and what we're doing, and why you want to listen. And it could be, if nothing else, it's going to be very entertaining. That I promise. The energy of the show will change just a little bit. It'll go from JJ serious to a little bit more fun and entertaining, okay? But there will still be depth and vulnerability and education and sharing and questions and all the fun stuff, but it's going to be different, and I hope that you'll all check it out when it happens. So there's the announcements. Again, as a last Reminder, you have 3 days to get the 3-pay option for the next big step. Go to jjflizanes.com. You can go to events, or you can go jjflizanes.com/next big step. Anyway, just go to jjflizanes.com. One more. If you're interested in joining our next 30-day manifestation challenge, it's happening in August. And I'll mention it today at the end of this episode, but I just wanted to let you know that you can sign up there, jjflizanes.com, under free tools and resources for the next 30-day manifestation challenge, which is happening in August. And I'm not sure when the next one will be. It's probably I'm going to guess it's going to be November, October or November. I haven't decided yet, but I know there'll only be one more this year. So you have August as the one and one more after that, and then we'll start back again next January, and I may only do 3 or 4 in the entire year in 2019. So get on board, because regardless, we all commune and support each other in the Facebook group, and that's a nice place to take and connect each other on a regular basis, so that, if you listen to this show or you listen to any of my shows, you can come on over to that group and post a question or ask for feedback or share a win, or just feel sort of a community support for the things that we do in this show. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Welcome, JJ Flizanes.
Thanks for having me, Michelle.
Well, it's been great because we've known each other for a while through social networking, and then we finally got to meet in person about 6 months ago at the New Media Summit.
We did, and actually before then I hired you.
We did, but we hadn't actually met in real life.
Correct. We had not met in real life. So it was a nice surprise to see you at New Media Summit and to finally get to know you a little bit better and spend some quality time with you in person.
I agree. So I've been really enjoying kind of getting into this whole wacky world of podcast. It adds to my whole wacky world of internet marketing. So there's lots of wacky worlds to be in. But so why don't you tell everybody a little bit more about what it is that you do?
Well, I've been a personal trainer for 20 years, and the offshoots of personal training has become, of course, life coaching, podcasting, author, speaker, and I do a lot of video with my content, because as a personal trainer, obviously, it's much better to explain exercise visually than it is just in terms of words and not being able to see it. Same thing with cooking. I promote a paleo, gluten, and dairy-free, easy cooking plan. And so I have that as one of my podcasts and shows, and definitely do that on video. So that would be kind of the gist of everything that I've done. It's expanded a little bit more deeply in terms of the spiritual, the mental, and the emotional, because I'm big on the integration of information. If you learn a lot of things about a lot of things, but you don't live them or connect them to the other parts of your life, then the likelihood you'll actually use them is less, and then you won't get the results that you want. So I'm big on the mind, body, soul integration.
So how do you think money fits into that? It wasn't a question I was going to ask you, but now listening to you, I'm kind of curious.
Well, money is energy. And money and energy, where you vibrate and where your frequency is a reflection of your own thoughts and feelings about yourself. So where money fits into that, and I don't have a topic about money. Money has been mentioned on my spiritual show, that is Spirit, Purpose, and Energy, because of manifestation and people who want to manifest more. But I don't deal with it directly from a money conversation necessarily about like budgeting or even business ideas. It's more of a vibrational and frequency conversation, self-confidence, a practice and a habit of how you feel on a regular basis, and how getting in alignment with something greater or bigger or more expanded than where you currently are is actually how to manifest more money. So money, I think, fits in because it's that reflection back to us about the money conversation. Your beliefs about money are shown to you based on how you manifest money, or how you don't manifest money, or how you lose money, or how it doesn't work out for you. And so if you want to know what your beliefs are, if you don't know, look at your relationship with it and it will tell you.
Yeah, I totally agree. Money is energy and a vibration, and I think money is a great mirror, because it can also reflect other parts of that, the body, mind, and soul. I feel like your relationship with money. So, do you? So I don't actually even know what your money story is, but I'm assuming you have one. So do you want to share kind of where you came from and how, kind of like how you were able to raise your vibration around money?
Well, the money story keeps changing. I'm sure for most people, maybe in business it does. There's not like an end point where all of a sudden there's something that happened and all of a sudden things are completely different and they've never changed since then. It's not like story A and story B. It's more like A, B, C, and it keeps growing. We've got D, we've got E, we've got F, and I'm even moving into another new section, and I'll be happy to share that. As an entrepreneur, as someone who has worked for themselves for a very long time, 18 years maybe, I chased the money. And for a long time, chasing the money because, I listened to a lot of smart people about energy and money and mindset about money. And I'm around a lot of money. And so how to get the money felt like a game or an intellectual understanding that I didn't have. And so I found it really interesting when I would approach it from the place of, I'm a really good problem solver. And if I look at industries that make a lot of money, I mean, I'm in an industry that makes a lot of money. Fitness and health and wellness and weight loss, for crying out loud, is like $1 trillion industry. However, I don't want to play at that energy level, but I did for a while. I thought, well, what can I create that would fit in the market that could make me a lot of money? And the problem is when you go at it from manifesting the money only, in my opinion. Now, you're a Capricorn, right?
Oh, yes, January
Okay.
8th.
Right. So Capricorns, that's different for you because your relationship with money is different than me. I'm a Pisces, and then lots of me is Sag. So there's a truth seeking, there's an emotional component that is way less interested in money in a way, because it's not as important to me. My happiness is more important to me than money, versus someone like a Capricorn or Taurus or Virgo possibly has a deeper attachment to the security and stability emotionally that money can provide. So I think that vibrationally, there's going to be a difference between astrological signs and your money value, what money means to you. So for me, when I was chasing money to mean stability and freedom and success and having what I wanted, but I had taken out the personalization part of it, when I took out the soul part of it, when I took out the passion part of it, when I took out the me part of it, like, what do I care about? It didn't work. And so I chased money. And there were times I chased it and I won. I got it. I caught it. I created it. But it didn't last because it wasn't fueled by any kind of passion or purpose that was going to be long lasting from me. And over time, and it's one of the things about my podcast, I started the Fit to Love podcast show back in 2014. And part of it wasn't for money. Part of it was really because I had all this content. I mean, content is something I can come up with every day, every minute. It's never ending amount of ideas that I have about things and about how to solve this problem or that problem in 10 different ways. So content creation, not an issue. But I was limited by my profession, being a personal trainer. As I was learning and growing, and I wanted to share that with my clients, a lot of times people would search me out to help them with weight loss. And I'd want to connect for them that weight loss wasn't about diet and exercise. But because that was the emotional, spiritual part, people didn't want to know about that. They weren't interested in that. They just wanted me to tell them about the food or about sleeping or and not even about hormones back then. All this information that I was learning about and applying to my own life, I wanted to share with other people. And I wasn't really giving myself an opening to do that with my clients. Hence why I started the show. When I learned about podcasting, I thought, great, this is a great way to talk about all the things that are important to me and want to share it with whomever wants to listen. And I'll just put it out there and I'll see what people think. And if they don't want to listen to Friday because it's about spirituality, they don't have to. If they only want exercise, they'll only watch Mondays. If they only want nutrition, they'll only watch Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So that was how I started the podcast. Now, fast forward 2 years later, 350 shows later, 2 seasons. And while I've had some traction and I've had some sales and I've had some new clients, it just didn't feel like the amount of effort and energy and passion I was putting into it was paying off financially. So I took a step back and thought, what's wrong with this picture and why is this brand not working? Now, that was an intellectual decision, but I had a gut check emotionally prior to that analysis. So when I took a step back and I looked at it and I thought, you know what? I have such very specific content and keywords on every single day of the week that this overall brand does not serve each one of these different content, themes on each different day of the week. So that's when I thought, I'm going to take the same content and repurpose it. And this time I'm going to give it a much more specific title and keywords. So people looking for this exact kind of content won't be put off or won't think, well, what's that about? Like if someone types in astrology right now to iTunes, I'm number one with my show Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. People find me who are interested in astrology. Now, not everybody likes me or clicks on the show or listens to it, but I rank number one. I rank number one in numerology. I rank number 3 or 4 in law of attraction. I rank number 3 or 4 in spirituality. And while Fit to Love also might have ranked high, the fact that it said Fit to Love kind of threw people off. So I've been able to grow that show like without any effort. I mean, it's been effortless. And so when I split up all the different content and gave it more specific keywords and themes and energy, I got to uncover that what's really funny is that the thing I care about the most, the thing I thought intellectually would be the least able to make money, the show that I had no products for, the show I had nothing attached to financially, the show that I thought I'm just going to put it out there, I don't care, was Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. It's about law of attraction. But here's where my money story changed, in that that's the one that makes me the most amount of money. So I've got sponsors on that show. I do events now coming out of that show. I've created other packages that I sell on that show. I do astrology with people because of that show. So that show is a whole new revenue stream that I had no expectation of. And no, you couldn't have asked me if I thought that was going to happen that way. But what it proved to me was that I make money when I do something I care about. And that has to be the barometer, that it's energy that I put out because I care. I'm passionate. I'm interested in it. I'm doing it. And then I let people find me, versus that's just how it is for me. When I take it and like chase the money, I actually repel the money, because it's not about the money, and it never really should be about the money, really. I mean, yes, you can make a lot of money, but there's so many ways to do that. And I feel it's so much easier, and I have to do so much less work when I just do what I love in a way that makes sense for me. And then things just unfold the way they're supposed to. And I attract exactly what I want, and it's easier.
So I love your money stories, but I have to unpack a few things here. Because first of all, I never heard that before, the chasing the money, but you're right. And even though I'm a Capricorn, every time I've tried chasing the money, it's never worked for me either. So it may not.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I don't know if it ever works. I mean, I think you're right. Sometimes you catch it, because sometimes I caught it. But usually when you're chasing something, it's, because then you're either pursuing or they have to submit. So it's almost like you're in this relationship with money where money has to submit to you, which I don't know if it's necessarily that's a good energy exchange either, when you think about it.
Yeah. Well, and I was, I know a lot of very successful Capricorns that chase the money. Now, their health declined because they chased the money.
See, there's always a payoff. And I think that's what I
Right.
And because my health hasn't declined, but that's the thing. But money, I certainly had some issues with money. So in terms of that whole chasing bit of it, but yeah, and then the idea that you unhooked. So I love the idea that you unhooked all the different podcasts and put all the different, even though it feels more work, but you were doing it 5 days a week anyways. So it actually wasn't more work, but and it's interesting because on a total side note, I just did that with my blog. I have so much good content on my blog. I just redid the theme and made it so it's easier for people to search based on the content they're looking for. And you know what? It's working. It's already, my blog is already stickier, and it's only been up for like a few weeks as of the recording of this podcast. So yeah, I think that's really a smart thing to do.
Well, I had to be moved to do it because it wasn't, the content of my show was good. The interviews were good. I was right on point most of the time with the energy and passion that I had in the moment. So I'd listen to my own show and think, this is a good show. Like, I don't know why is it not getting the same traction that I thought it would get? And I realized it was just a miscommunication in the branding,
right,
and in the marketing. And so that's an easy fix. And I actually was doing it 6 days a week. And it was video and audio. And I wasn't trying to do 6 days a week video and audio forever. It was a test. I started the whole thing out as a test anyhow, to see what people wanted, what they'd be willing to listen to, what they were attracted to. And then from there, I was going to decide what to do next. So rather than give up on the whole thing, knowing that I had good content, is when I separated it. And I'm still repurposing. And once I'm done repurposing all the past content, I keep making new content. But once I'm done repurposing all the past content on their new shows, I won't do them all. I'll take the best ones and keep going with those. But yes, I'm not going to, because I actually want to do some different shows. Like, I still want more shows. So,
of course you do. Why wouldn't you want more?
Well, it's just, because I'm venturing down another area of business that I think is going to be huge and very scalable and very prosperous. And when that works, I'm going to want to teach people how to do it. And that's not going to fit on any one of my shows. So it needs its own show
Of
if
course it
that, when
does.
that works. So, I just, it's all about testing. So to me, the money conversation has to do with your alignment with your passion, your alignment with your purpose, not in a, oh my god, I need to know my purpose kind of way, but like, what lights me up, what value do I feel like I have to give to people based on my own life experience and my education, and the things that, again, light me up, turn me on, keep me on, and seem to keep me in that high flying place. And so for me, it really took just experiencing, trusting, because I used to chase the money with my second book. I had an investor. I manifested an investor, which was awesome, and it was exactly the right relationship. I didn't need to pay him back. I didn't need to. There wasn't any structure in place to get any kind of loan kind of charges or anything. So I really just manifested someone who wanted to a write off. So who gave me lots of money, and we had this plan. And then when it was over, what I had realized and said to him is that the purpose of his investment was to leverage it to make more money, was to grow, but only if it was going to make sense and if the book and the brand took off. And to me, I needed to create some momentum. I wanted more money than he gave me, which of course, but when I look back at what happened, I said to him, if this doesn't work, I'm not willing to do all the work. Like, the point of this is to create a momentum that I can step away from and that it has legs by itself. And that is very, very clearly what I wanted. So I've had, that's when I had my come to Jesus talk with myself about law of attraction, because I realized that I had been pushing and pushing and pushing because I'm a great producer. I make things happen, but that's not the energy of law of attraction. That's not the energy of what I wanted. So once that book launched and 5 months went by and I did my first event, I was exhausted and I thought, I'm not doing this anymore. So that was when I took a really hard look at, I wasn't living what I was promoting. I was coming from anxiety. I was pushing and I was waiting for something to happen in order for me to feel relief and freedom. So I took a hiatus from like end of 2011 to end of 2012. I took a year where I didn't try to get any business. I did no newsletters. I unsubscribed from just about everybody. I kind of was a hermit for a while, and I waited. I waited until I had an inspiration so strong that it forced me into action. And that's kind of how I live now, is that I'm only going to take on projects based on my own intuitive hit, that it's something that's so important to me that I don't care if anyone else buys it. Like, really, that's my barometer. If I am making it for me, that's why I'm going to do it.
So okay, so I think this is so juicy. So first off, like, what did you do that year where you said you didn't look for new clients? You were just okay with whatever money came in or didn't come in. Were you planning to take a whole year off? I mean, that seems very decadent, which is really cool, but it still seems decadent.
Well, no, I already have clients that sustain my living.
Oh,
I
okay.
just
So you
didn't
just
go,
weren't going to
I
new ones.
wasn't creating anything new. I wasn't promoting anything more. I wasn't trying to find new clients. I wasn't, I'm always in creation. I love problem solving, but I was like, you know what? I'm done,
Yeah,
because that's
taking a
not,
break.
yeah, I don't, the energy of anxiety and
Yeah,
like I have to get it done was, it's exhausting. And again, it's exactly the opposite of what I understand to be true. I just wasn't living it. So now I had to say, okay, you're going to live what you believe. And that concept is funny, but it's really true.
yeah,
That's where the integration part comes in. I learned it firsthand. People can talk all day long about what they know, but doesn't mean you're doing it. So you have
yeah.
to integrate it to live it. And here I am, telling people about law of attraction, and I'm pushing, 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 pushing. And it never worked out that it took off versus, let's turn the tables. And now I'm with Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I don't do anything to market that show. I barely put out one post a week on Instagram and on my newsletter. I don't have tweets that go back to Spirit, Purpose, and Energy. I don't have automated things that go out. I don't pay for any ads, yet it keeps growing because of the fact that this is something that has legs. So
So, okay, so how would you tell somebody, like, if somebody's listening to this saying, okay, you said the first one, like, what lights you up? So what would be it's like something for people, like something tangible, so they could switch from the pushing, because I think that's part of the problem with entrepreneurs. I know I was a massive pusher too, so pusher and forcing and willpower, and it was really hard to back up and do it differently. So what are your tips? I would love to hear how you would help somebody stop the pushing and start living in the law of attraction.
Well, the first part of that is really that whole inspired action idea and the impulse and the not living in anxiety. And your brain doesn't understand not, right? So you can't say don't do this. You have to do something different. So that's why I created what came out of my Spirit Purpose Energy podcast was a need for me. Again, it's always has to come back to me. A need for me to be more accountable to doing the practices every day. If you can either be proactive or reactive. If you get up every day and the first thing you do is check your email, you're going to be in reaction mode, reacting to whatever energies are being thrown at you. And now you're in their energy, their vibration. Proactive would be you get up, you don't check your email, you meditate, you write in your journal, you earth, you ground, you pull some cards, you do some kind of ritual that gets you centered. You listen to a visualization, you stare at a picture on a vision board, and you get things kind of activated within you. And then when you're a little higher flying on a different frequency, then you can go into your day and your day is going to be different. So it's that proactive versus reactive. And it's real easy to stay in reactive and not take the 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes, whatever you want in the morning to start your day on a high flying disc, so to speak. And so that's why I created the 30-day manifestation challenge, which is a free challenge that I run a couple times a year. And it was to keep me accountable. Like I literally chose like 8 friends and said, hey, I want to test out this concept. Who's interested? So I made some audios and I put together some instructions and I told them what to do. And we all got in a Facebook group and then we did it. And I was like, okay. And then I thought, well, I wonder if my community would want to do this. So I offer it a couple times a year and people sign up all the time and want to know when the next one is. And it's the keeping me accountable to doing the practices. And it's not everybody's going to be different. Like if you're super tired or busy, maybe something for you is literally just writing a list. So you'll have to stay tuned, Michelle. I have an announcement that I can't tell you on the show, but there'll be a coming out soon that you will hear from me. And it is literally like one of the best manifestations I've had in a long time. And how I did it, one of the things that I did to manifest this was using just literally lists of positive aspects, lists of what I wanted, lists of something that I believe I could have. Now, I didn't know how I was going to get it. I had ideas about how I could get it, but I also released and surrendered to, I'm not going to control the how. I just know I can have this. I believe I can have this truly 100% in my cells. And that's another thing that people think law of attraction is about just saying positive affirmations and putting up pictures on a board, but you have to believe it. If you don't believe you can get what you want, if you don't believe you deserve to get what you want, you're not going to get it. So I believed that I was going to get this thing that I wanted. I believed it was possible 100%. And recently I've manifested it. So, and I keep manifesting like down the line, like I'm on fire right now. So in terms of action steps, you have to do whatever promotes you stepping into that new vision of your life, whether it be future visioning, whether it be journaling, whether it be reading success stories from other people. So I used to read Entrepreneur Magazine. And at first, when I was first in business, it exhausted me. I couldn't get 5 pages in without 3 pages of new ideas. And the list never got shorter. It just kept going. And I thought, this is exhausting. I have so many ideas about what I could create that I can't even read this magazine anymore. And now I don't really read it now either, but now I have a different perspective because I now realize it's not about the amount of ideas I have. It's about when it's the right idea and when the impulse is strong enough to follow that idea. So now I like to read stories in these different success magazines from time to time about the story, about the person and what had to happen, because you don't know what you don't know. So reading success stories sometimes make you go, wow, like they created that from that. And so now it expands your mind to think it is possible. So you have to believe that what you want is possible at some level in order for you to attract it. And then you have to get into that vibration and frequency and feeling about it before you can even get it. So if you can't imagine having it and imagine what that would feel like and embody that, then it's just external surface stuff that's a wish and a hope, but it's disconnected from the most powerful part of you, which is your emotions and your vibrations.
So, what would you say, like, if you wanted, if there's something that you really wanted, like let's say you wanted to have a 7-figure business, or even a 6-figure business, but you actually didn't believe it. So, what steps would you say somebody to take to actually believe that they actually could get it? Would you do it incrementally? Like, would you say, okay, I just want to make $10,000 more this year, or what? How would you do that?
Well, I think each individual person is going to test out what works for them. I know, a lot of I know you were around at the same time I am in terms of all the workshops back in the
Yes.
2008 and 7 and 9, right? And all the money making stuff. And it's like, think big and think big. And it's
Yeah.
really great high. And how many people actually walk out and do that? Like, not that many. So I think I think that incrementally might work better for some people because it is more believable, but it's not necessarily about it's about what you can believe, but it's also about the vehicle to get there. If there's the how, people think I need to figure out the how, and the how will be shown to you. In fact, the 7-figure, 8-figure idea that I know is going to work came to me in January after my event. I had talked about a product in the group. I've been promoting this product. I took a picture of this product and probably sold 12 of them in 2 minutes on Instagram. And I love it. I use it. I want to promote it, but the company is not that interested in making it anymore, and there's no competition for it. And I was so frustrated with their lack of customer service, with the lack of being able to get its availability, that I made a comment at the event that, I'm going to make it. If they don't like straighten up, I'm going to make it. And about a week later, I was taking a walk and I got to the top of the hill and I went, holy crap, I'm going to make that product. I was like, so here we are. I'm entering a whole new world of manufacturing and formulation. And I already see what's possible. Once I understand how to do this, game over, game over. And so I'm going to make a big leap, but because I know it's possible, but because I know the vehicle, I'm going to do it to get there because I'm taking it from I don't care if anyone else buys it. Like I was speaking at a conference a couple weeks ago. I mentioned it, room full of 50 women, and they're all like, where can I buy it? I'm like, this is going to be so easy once I get through, the learning curve of all of this. And so to me, I'm going to make a big leap because I know how to because I see the paved road, and I've tested out this energy of this is how it's worked before for me. And again, and even if it doesn't, I don't care. That's the beauty. I just want to make it for me. And I trust that it will go the way it's supposed to go at the pace it's supposed to go. So if you just find things that light you up and it isn't so focused, it's like a balance between what you're creating and what you can make. Again, it's that, are you chasing the money? Like, I'm not chasing the money in this case. The money's going to come because I'm not chasing it. The money's going to come because it's a good idea. And I waited for years. This is 12 years in the making that I've been waiting to figure out what product I was going to make. And it came to me. Didn't think it was going to be in the industry that it's in, and didn't know it was going to come in this way, but it did. So I just trusted that I was, happy. I was content. I'm stepping out of my comfort zone in other areas of life, and I'm having a good time. And boom, the inspired action hit me like a ton of bricks. So if you're somebody who, you're very practical, then maybe somebody needs to do it incrementally. Again, find somebody doing what you're doing, who's doing it better, who's making more. Find out what they're doing. Expand your mind and possibilities and creativity to think differently. And then allow yourself to have inspired action. Do some meditations, do some visualizations, allow yourself to be moved in a direction that may be unfamiliar territory for you, and see what happens. But again, it has to be something you care about. Otherwise, you're chasing the money and eventually you might sabotage it.
Yes, being committed and not attached. I mean, you didn't say it quite like that in there, but that's been kind of this theme, and I think that's a big theme for Law of Attraction too. Is you're committed to the vision, but you're not attached to the path that gets to you, or how, or the amount, or whatever.
Right. And that even the idea of it not working like on a big level doesn't bother me. I don't care.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
But that's how I know it's going to work, because I don't care. I just want to make it for me. So,
Yeah.
and I know other people who want it. And now every time I talk about it, more people want it, and they don't even know what they're wanting yet. So this is going to be fun. And I think it's going to be easy. And because of that, I think it's going to be successful.
Well, I can't wait to find out what it is. So I'll be waiting breathlessly myself. Maybe I'll be scrolling back through your Instagram to see if I can piece it together.
You don't have that kind of time, although I know you So good luck with that. I'm sure
I know I don't. I'm laughing.
you don't. You won't because you don't have that kind of
No.
time. Otherwise, you might.
Otherwise, yeah, but no, I won't do that. I also don't have the patience. So why don't you tell everybody? I mean, this whole idea of manifesting is so great. Why don't you tell somebody like how they can learn how to manifest from you? I had no idea we were going to have a conversation about manifesting with you, and so this is just such a cool thing that you're doing. So how would somebody learn more?
Well, they could join the 30-day manifestation challenge. The next one is happening August of 2018. And how you would get to it, the easiest place would be jjflizanes.com. And then there's a blue bar on the homepage. It says free tools and resources. You can go there and click through and sign up for the challenge. And it's free. And you get instructions, and there's a couple podcasts to listen to prep you. And
well, of course
we do it all. Right. We do it all in a Facebook group, a private Facebook group that you have to ask and you have to request to be let in. And you also have to be approved to be let in. So it's not like you just join it or everybody joins it. I control it very much because I want to know that people that are in that group have either listened to my podcast or heard me on somebody else's podcast and understand what they're getting involved in. I don't want to be searchable and someone just says, oh, manifestation, and they have no idea about what I talk about or who I am or what I do or what I promote. So it's important that I keep it controlled and I keep it with high integrity. So jjflizanes.com, that's jjflizanes.com. Free tools and resources will get you there. And the next one is in August.
And you can go to lovebasedbiz.com, and in the show notes, I will have direct links to all of this, so you'll be able to easily find it at lovebasedbiz.com if you can't handle her last name. So we've got you covered. Well, thank you. This was delightful. I'm so excited that we had this conversation.
Thanks, Michelle. Me too. I appreciate the asking of the question. I had no idea where we were going to go with it. And but it's great because it really is the truth of my life and the money story that's been unfolding. And I'm hoping that someone feels inspired and at least possibly like there's more hope for them to get more of what it is they want.
Yeah, I agree. I'm more inspired. So that's so you got one person for sure.
Awesome.